Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black MINDZ News. Black MINDZ News is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, insinuate, develop, investigate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether by news, video, website, or quotes from publications. As I articulate this information, I accept the creator of the universe, be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit, because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this place that we call the United States, we, the foundational Black American bloodline historical lineage, the historical people known as slaves, we call ourselves BADOS, Black American descendant of some slaves. Some say Black African descendant of slaves. Others say ADOS, American descendant of slaves. We, the today children, offspring, and present generation, we give honor to our ancestors. You know what the motto of my show is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Today's date is October the 8th, 2019. And we're going to try to get up another live show for the morning. Trying to get to a regular time for those who might try to catch the show. We're trying to be a little bit more consistent, more than we had been in the earlier stages. So today we're going to talk about a few things. Again, on the current event show, live show, just going to be current events. So I don't post anything so that you won't know and have to sit around and listen to see what we're going to display. So again, stay tuned as we get into this and display what we have for the current event show this morning. Stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Again, I'm your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and welcome to Black MINDZ News Live Report. First and foremost, just in case there should happen to be somebody in the house that should be subscribers, what's good, fam? Subscribers old and new. Passerbys, if you should happen to pass by, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business for 7 years. Used to get $250,000, 50,000, 30,000, 20,000, 10,000, you name it, we was getting it. Did one particular video back in April 1st of 2014, and ever since that time, we can't get past 44 views. Yet we have 2.94 thousand subscribers, but can't get 44. So what is it that we over here at Black MINDZ News talk about that YouTube and establishment or employees don't want to be heard? Again, you can go down the aisle, see some things that you might like. If you happen to see something that make you feel some kind of way, remember the motto of the show is the truth don't need no partner. All right, so, everybody's still kind of feeling some kind of way after the trial that happened in Dallas with the Amber Geiger trial. And then there was some after effects, right? And some things just don't mesh, and a lot of people feel some kind of way. And, based on the way that a lot of us been inculcated about how we are understanding, if we don't have that personal, if we never gone through in life, in reality of these type of situations, well, a lot of our learning comes through television to you, right? The television to you. And so when you watch these kind of movies and shows, what you normally see is that, let's say, watch a movie, somebody going to testify. It's a big trial, somebody big they're trying to catch. They put them in witness protection, right? Somehow the bad guys figure out where they at, and the movie is based on that whole scenario, right? But in this case, in the reality and the situation that we've seen, Joshua Brown didn't get afforded that kind of protection, right? Based on the simple fact that he went out and to testify against officers, right? Those who were sworn to protect and uphold the law, protect citizenry, and all that good stuff, right? Civics duties, right? So he's going against the grain. That seems to be a no-no. But again, when wrong is wrong, then right has to be right. But in this case here, again, after the trial and a lot of stuff that had been seen, black folks is feeling some kind of way because, again, they say, well, is that ethical what this person has done? Is this something of the ordinary that how, again, black folks, again, the most incarcerated people in this country, I'm pretty sure we know a lot about court. Anybody like disagree with that? We know a lot about when it comes to this court. And so when it comes to this damn court, we understand the proceedings. And again, as we always be sitting there getting judged, we know what seems to be a normal proceeding and what seems to be not normal. And so people feel some kind of way. Some people a little split about it. Some people thought that it was copacetic. That was okay. They were Christians, right? So based on the outcry, based on after the trial, then that Friday came, the news came across, and everybody was hearing about what happened to Joshua Brown. And then there was just stuff that was just being said that just people just like, wait, hold. Something ain't adding up here, right? So yesterday, the mayor of Texas came out and he said something. Now I'm going to go ahead and play you this right quick. Show you this video that I caught this morning. So I want you to check this out and we shall be right back. Check this out.
Mayor tonight urging calm there after the mysterious murder of a key witness in the trial of that former Dallas police officer convicted of murdering her neighbor. Joshua Brown lived in that same apartment building, and his emotional testimony actually helped convict Amber Geiger. So who killed him and why? ABC's Marcus Moore from Dallas tonight.
Tonight, the mayor of Dallas urging the public to refrain from speculating about the mysterious murder of Joshua Brown, a key witness at the Amber Geiger trial. The former officer convicted of murder after she says she entered a neighbor's apartment thinking it was hers and shot him to death. Brown himself found dead Friday night, shot multiple times in the parking lot of his new apartment complex.
I had heard pow, 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 pop, pop, pop.
Brown lived across the hall from Botham Jean and disputed this claim during the trial.
I yelled at him. It's like, let me see your hands, let me see your hands.
Brown testified he never heard that warning.
Do you recall ever hearing someone say, hey, put your hands up at a loud tone?
No ma'am.
Or show me your hands?
No ma'am.
But Brown, no stranger to gun violence. Last year, he was wounded, his friend murdered outside a strip club. His family says he was a reluctant witness in the Geiger case and had been concerned about testifying so publicly.
Anytime someone is killed under mysterious circumstances, you have to look at their whole life to see who might have something out against them.
Police so far identifying no suspects.
Marcus Moore, who's been on this case from the beginning, and another headline on this case from Dallas tonight. We're also hearing from the judge in the trial. I know, Marcus, she's now defending herself tonight after she hugged the officer too in that courtroom.
Yeah, David, the hug from the judge came after Botham Jean's brother embraced Geiger in the middle of that courtroom. The judge says after that moving moment, Geiger asked her for a hug too. She believes that her actions were appropriate as the trial was over, and Geiger was asking for forgiveness. David.
Marcus Moore, again tonight. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the...
All right. So, as you've seen right there, you see that the report came out, and it's talking about that the mayor of Texas is saying that basically he's just really saying, black folks, would you stop speculating as to what you theorize, as to what you think happened, right? You know when they say speculate what they mean, right? You know Mr. Blows Your Mind also is a wordsmith too, right? So we're going to just say, when we talk about speculate, we're going to say to mediate, right? Black folks, stop mediating about what you think took place. Black folks, stop thinking that you know what done took place. Quit reflecting on the case. It's over with. Move on about your long head. What about rationalize? Black folks, why are you still rationalizing about that? It's over with. Didn't you get justice? Intellectualize it. Black folks, are y'all really trying to think? Is that what it is? We didn't think y'all could think. And now you want to sit here and look at it. Well, again, who know this system better than that of BADOS and ADOS? We've been here, according to your count, from the Virginia Company time of 1619, which would be about 400 years, but we know we got about extra 150 years prior to that. But we just going to say, according to your count, right? So you say, we never taught you how to think. So what's making you trying to think now, right? So it says to think over, to ponder, right? To reflect over, right? Reflect on, the turn over in the mind, to weigh, to evaluate, to, let's say, we could say reconsider, re-examine, right? Conjure, guess, surmise, suppose. You know what I mean, what I'm saying, right? So the mitigated goal, we have to ask ourselves that somebody wants us to just say, take this medicine. You know, like back in the old school days, they used to give castor oil, right? You know, if you never had castor oil, at least you see the cartoons and they would show somebody getting in, they become sick and ill, but again, supposed to do something good for you. Well, it's kind of like what happened at the end of this trial. It was like bad medicine that people had to take, and take it, and you're going to like it, and you're going to learn to like it. Okay. So again, if the family had no problem, then we as the outsiders will have to be just like, okay, it is what it is. But what ended up happening is we see that the brother Joshua Brown somehow mysteriously comes up missing, right? Because, you know, that's what they had on this morning in the paper, right? They said, stop speculating about slaying of Amber Geiger witness. That was the mayor said. The mayor had said, stop speculating. Right? And as I gave you those different ways of looking at speculating, but if it's based on black folks, this is what y'all need to stop doing. Right? Because again, you don't watch too many movies. You know, you don't really understand. Well, the most incarcerated people, especially when it comes to being a black male in this country, who else know about that more than we do, right? So again, who has a horse in this race? That's the whole question becomes. Right? Who had the horse in the race? Who benefited from it? Now, according to how they did this article, or not the article, but the video, they said, well, you know, he had some prior situations, right? That he had got shot. The person that was with him got killed. And by him doing the trial and becoming, let's say, his profile became public, that maybe, again, as you heard, now let me go ahead and show this. Let me go ahead, right? Because you heard the attorney for the family, right? Lee Merritt, right? Lee Merritt had sat there, he said something I thought it was, a lot of people kind of questioning a lot about some of the things way he did. Was there some orchestrating behind the scenes of the curtain of the Wizard of Oz? And he just said that based on the simple fact that, again, is the word that was used by the mayor to speculate, well, black folks, Don't just speculate and just assume that you think that maybe, again, according to, how black folks seem to know some things that people just don't try to give us the respect. Like when black folks unify on a position, you pretty much better believe that that's a high percentage, that's true. You get what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is that he said, as the attorney for the family, and say, well, we need to get to the bottom of this. But black folks, think about this. He may have some things that might have been in his background that may be the culmination of what you see now. Then, the equivalent now is what you see that done happen. Don't speculate as to thinking that you may think you know what took place, because it may not be that. Right? That's what he's saying. There's so many words to summing that up. That's what he just said. He said, well, you don't really know. It may not be who you think. We know who y'all thinking it is. But it may not be that, because he had a situation prior to that. Well, wait a minute. Based on what just took place as the trial in itself, who else are you supposed to look first? Again, like I said, the first 48 hours. Right? And based on, again, his testimony is the one they saying is what really put the nail in the coffin. That's what they say. It is his testimony that really put the nail in the coffin, because otherwise, if he doesn't testify, dead man can't speak. It's her word versus what was happening, and pretty much everybody could have walked up out of there, right? And basically, what the family did, they pretty much, again, what that brother said, he was like, he didn't want you to go to jail, right? So, again, we had to say, well, let me put that back up on the screen here. Let me put that back up there, right? So, so for him to say that, again, we understand in the professionalness of being a lawyer, right, that you got to stay down the middle. It can't be, again, you got to have the evidence to substantiate your allegations. Otherwise, you can, again, be liable for the words that you say. Again, that's why you say allegedly, right? Well, we have to be allegedly that this took place. But in this case, so again, no one's want to say what is the obvious. What would be obvious in this situation based on what done took place? Now, there's a couple elements in this that everybody could be speculative to think they might know, but who was the game? So again, as you heard that witness say, I think that witness, let me see if I got that witness in here? I think I got that witness one that what she heard, right? Remember what she said? What she heard, the sounds, right? This lady right here, right? That lady right there. Remember what she said? She said she heard pop, 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 pop. Huh? 6 shots, right? Pop, 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 pop. Right? That's what she said she heard, right? Nobody seen nobody, but they heard the shots, seen the silver sedan. Somebody was able to see the car, but not see the people or the persons or whoever it might have been, right? No clues, no suspects, nobody. They even say there is no motive. Really? Really? There's no motive. But this individual right here said she heard pop, 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 pop. So, but according to what I do a little bit of my research, what I heard garnered from looking, I said it was shot in the mouth and shot in the chest. But she said pop, 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 pop. Well, that's 6 shots. Okay, so I don't know, maybe, drive by, and you only got 2 out of the 6. It could have been more, and it's only what they're going to tell us, right? So anyway, you never know, right? So, there was more to this. See what? So let me go back to when he got killed, right? The day that it broke, because I did that. I actually, for those who are watchers of this show, subscribers and so forth, when that broke before it got onto social media, I had the news story and I had sent it out. Now, some of you who got the notification maybe didn't click on it. Oh, you can't. It's a bloody mind. Okay, what you on anyway? So anyway, what Lee Merritt had said after the day, now check this out, what he had said then. He said, we are under constant attack as a community, but we seem to have only mastered fighting each other, right? So he's saying that, okay, we're always constantly under attack by those who are in opposition to us, again. And so he said that the only thing we seem to have mastered, because again, man, he's trying to get off the pressure that people are looking at him and saying that there's something about the way that whole thing went down that he may have been the puppeteer behind the screen to allow that young man to do the things he did, or it could have just been natural. You know, people, again, like to say, speculating, right? People speculating. So he said that he don't know who killed Joshua Brown. He was truly a genuine soul that was loved deeply by his family and friends, and I will work to get to the bottom of this murder. In the meantime, I've watched a pattern emerge. It goes like this. They attack our community. Who is they he talking about? Who is he talking about when he say they? They attack our community. Do he know something we don't know? He says they. Who do you mean by they? Who is they? Is that just general? Because again, that's what he said the day, 2 hours after the story broke on that Friday. I got this originally from him when he put out his statement. Then you see what he just said on the video. Now he's saying that maybe somebody in the background. But this is what he had said, right? Okay, let's go on, move on. I'm going to show it to you. I have to go ahead and read it to you, right? He says that they attack our community. We respond by attacking each other. He said, take the Amber Geiger trial, for example. Well, what other example could we have at this time dealing with you? You know what I'm saying? And the situation at hand, right? Okay. It revealed corruption at every level in the city of Dallas. Now, this is his words, right? He's the attorney. Now, he just said it revealed corruption at every level in the city of Dallas. Based on what he just said, then you come back and then you say on that TV that, he got shot, a year ago and his buddy got killed. Maybe it got something to do with that. But you just said, and I'm going to let you see, so did you say it's not me just saying that? So you can see what he said. But I'm going to show it to you first, right? Okay. And so he goes on and says that he said, like Amber Geiger's partner, Martin Rivera, openly admitted destroying evidence. Okay? Now he's naming names. Violating department policies. Okay. So there's some collaboration and cahoots, not just with that individual, but those who was helping them internally, right? Committing perjury, that's the individual there. He said he has faced little to no blowback. He is still a Dallas police officer till this day. The Dallas Police Association president, Mike Malta, showed up to Botham's apartment the night he was murdered and interjected himself into the investigation, actively conspiring to protect Amber Geiger. Now look, he's naming names, right? He done said one name, two names, three names, you understand? Department, okay, who he pointing at? Who is his words pointing to, right? Moving on. Goes on and he says that, now he was talking about, okay, that was the Mike Malta, right? And then he goes on and he says that actively conspired to protect Amber Geiger, he instructed she be taken out of custody, that body cameras, dash camera videos be halted, and began crafting a narrative that got her off. On camera, the DOJ, Department of Justice, needs to be auditing the entire department. We should be hounding the mayor. And what? He said we should be hounding the mayor. And then the mayor comes out, said what? Do I need to show that again? About speculating. Black folks stop speculating. But again, Lee Merritt is saying a lot. Now, maybe he might have taken this down, but I got it when he put it up, and I'm going to let you see it so nobody can say, I'm just saying what I'm saying. All right, we're going to just go on court to, he should know what he's talking about, right? So, going on, it says to the fact that he said that about auditing the department, we should be hounding the mayor and police chief nonstop to clean house. Now, why would you need to clean house if it's just one incident? Right? Think about it. If it's only one incident, we don't need to do no more than just deal with the individual at hand. But no, you said there's more. You said corruption. You said the department. You said people, shamming and, all right, so moving on. He says that we are not, though the vast majority of our bandwidth has been directed at telling an 18-year-old how to properly grieve. Now, again, he's switching it because, again, he's telling you, if black folks, if you need to be focusing on anything, here's what you need to be looking at, right? Now, this is Lee Merritt, then here's his word. But he said, well, based on the simple fact that a lot of people had a lot of problems with the image that I don't want to show. Right? I don't want to show that image, right? Matter of fact, I need to get her off there, right? Let me go, hold on, let me do this. Okay, let me put this back up there. Because we ain't talking about her no more. She already gave her part to her. All right, so let me go put that back up here, because that's what we're talking about, right? Let me go back here. So, he said, based on, again, like I said, a lot of people felt some kind of way when they seen that hugging, right? And people stroking people's hair and patting the back. We're going to get to that too, because I got something else in here to show y'all. So, he's trying to divert that and say, well, that's where you need to be focused. Get up with this young man. He said the black female judge that prevented the Texas Ranger from taking under formal review professionally, or tanking under, okay, because she had a human moment after the case was completely over. Now again, see, I guess you're trying to say, all right, they did what they did. We may not all agree with that, but this is who you need to be focusing on, right? Now again, I'm not going to derail you. I'm going to show you what he's saying so I can show you what I'm talking about here, right? It goes on and says that the black female judge, okay, with biased conclusions is currently being destroyed socially and under formal review. Okay, so what he's saying is that based on everybody getting on social media, someone's calling her Mammy Tammy, and all they was going out the way, calling the family, coons and all this other stuff, right? They're saying all kinds of stuff. And again, people are emotional. A lot of times, sometimes when you don't have the right words, you say or blurt out some stuff because, again, lack thereof your articulation, right? So it happens, right? But in the case that, again, black folks who, if not personally go to court, seen people go to court and have never seen that kind of emotion and affection for a person under that kind of sentencing, right? Or to be convicted, right? And so it was kind of a backlash on that, right? And that's just what it was. And so he's trying to, do some damage control. He's trying to help them and say, well, you need to be focused on here. Now, again, what he said originally. Now, let me let you see. So you say, I didn't make that up. See? There you go right there in front of your eyes. I didn't make that up. That's right there, right? And he goes on, our community has joined in reaffirming the greedy black lawyer caricature that white supremacists use to denounce justice efforts. So again, now he's trying to kick himself out. Because again, people were kind of questioning what part did you have in the play in that? So again, he's, trying to deflect a little bit. Look, hey, no, don't focus on what me, Tammy, and Brother Botham did. You need to be focused on this. Here's some of the stuff that you may not have known. All right. Now, based on what you see and what he said in there, then to say speculation, why would anybody think we speculating when the person who we know have first-hand knowledge, evidence, and everything that he know, why did he say the things that he's saying right here if they want us not to speculate, right? Because there, again, as his own words, according to what he wrote here, says that what? That there was destroying of evidence. He named names of individuals. He said even the department had his play in it. So there was a lot of people involved in this. That could this somehow come back? You understand? Could there be, somewhere coming, catching around and people being named? So then who end up getting caught in the whole scenario, right, would be Joshua Brown. All he did was what? Tell the truth, right? That's what he did. He went and told the truth, and based on him telling the truth, he lost his life. And it seemed like everybody was like, like, okay, all right, let me show you something too. All right, let me show you something that I saw that I thought was a little bit something there. Right, let me show you this. Because, you know, really I didn't do this story. I was on my hiatus at that time, so I didn't do it. But you remember they kind of showed that little clip real quick up in there, right? Now that's inside of the Botham Jean's apartment, right? Now, do you see them two right there on there? Can you see that real good? If anybody in here, can you see that? All right. Okay, I got a couple people in there. Okay. Now you see them. You see the one to the right, the dude there. He's looking down. Right. That's kind of a small apartment because you can see the back of the wall is so close to the back of them two officers. Right, and the wall there. So it's not a real big place. And as you see, whoever's standing there taking that picture, standing there, they're in the corridor is coming from the door. So if you came in and they kept specifying that the man was sitting there eating a bowl of ice cream, which means looks like where you looking and staring down at, he's still on the couch. Huh? He's still on the couch, right? He's still on the couch. Hey, well, Mr. Bloodman, come on. I mean, you know, how do you really know that? Okay. All right. So let me show you another angle or something that they showed in there right quick. That was just on the video. You couldn't see because they flashed it real quick, but you know, I've seen it. Now that there is right before you get to what you just seen before, right? That's right where the door come in at, right? That's where the door come in at, right? So again, you got here, right? You got there, that's where the couch, and you got to walk past. Hold on. It should be still on this part. Why is it slipping? Okay. And then you should be this, right? Which is the kitchen. There's those lights that you see, that's the kitchen. So you got to walk past that kitchen, and he's sitting on the couch. Right? So, is that what took place? Because remember that Joshua Brown testimony was the fact that he had just came back because he went and watched a football game, went down to a little place they could watch, eat and drink beer and whatever. So he wasn't going to drive. Remember, he said he walked, came back, came through the parking lot and walked through the corridor. And as he was getting to Gumtown, the corridor, he could hear two people that seemed to be kind of arguing or talking loud, but he could not see, but he could hear. And then he hear pop, pop. Now, so was everything what we told what it was, what it really was? Or again, we speculating, right? Now, see, sometimes that's what I'm saying. Some people think that black people don't have this intuition to know truth when you hear it. Right? They think that you could just make any square peg in the round hole and everything that you say because it sounds good in your ear that you don't, again, as I say, speculate means to rationalize. See, black folks rationalize, even though a lot of us might be emotional, right? Due to the simple fact that, again, look where we've been and who we've been in this country. Would you not be when a deck is stacked and the game is rigged? Now, I know some of you ain't going to be like, yo, I'm not a victim. Well, you say whatever the hell you want to say, but it is what it is. And so when it don't fit, we learn from Johnny Cochran, when it don't fit, you must acquit. So somewhere in the story did not mesh. And so when we seen what we seen, it did not make sense to us. And that's where you seen what you seen. Then, okay, let's just say that particular family is people who are not cut from the ADOS, BADOS cloth. They from the black family, but they from other parts of the geographical location. So we understand how sometimes they get down, right? They get down different than we do. But when you mess with Joshua Brown, now you done tap back into BADOS and something turned on. Something ain't right here, right? Something just ain't right. And so somebody trying to tell us, stop investigating. You know, it's kind of like back in the day when we used to watch Scooby-Doo, right? You meddling kids, huh? You meddling kids, right? You kids out here meddling in my business, right? Mind your business. This ain't got nothing to do with you, but you put us in it once you start dealing with it. Our family. When you mess with Joshua Brown, that was our family. And we have the right to intervene when it's a family matter, when the thing didn't seem to go according to the way that you said it did, and then everybody doing some things that just don't seem to fit, then guess what? It can't acquit with us, right? So telling us stop speculating about the slaying of MRBLOWSURMIND Geiger's witness. Why would we not be speculating? Again, Lee Merritt just told you all the things that was things that was going wrong behind the scenes. But it's not something you gonna say. And that's showing the general media is not gonna say. So what really happened then? Huh? So that's just what that was, right? So let me show you this too. Because right after that, right? Right after that, you're going to get this, right? You see that after all that backlash that had been said, then you get this. So, okay, so I'm going to do this and then we'll be right back. Okay, let me do this right quick and we should be good. Check this out. Be right back, y'all.
Remember the forgiveness that was displayed at the end of the Amber Geiger trial from the beginning, or from the brother, I should say, of the shooting victim, Botham Jean. But it was also a show of compassion from the judge in the case that created support as well as criticism. That judge is Tammy Kemp, and today she is talking about her outreach to Amber Geiger. Our Steve Pickett spoke with her today. He is joining us live at the Crowley Courthouse with what she had to say about all of this. Steve?
And she does talk about, Doug, that she was caught up in the emotion of watching a young man, the brother of Botham Jean, and his display. And she went to the Jean family and then, as you know, went on to Amber Geiger. She told us that she has cried in court before as a prosecutor and a judge. In our interview with her, she shed tears as well discussing this. In her view, she says, her discussion and outreach to Amber Geiger was not a violation of any kind of judicial effort on her part, and what she did there, she said she'd do for others.
So I said to Ms. Geiger, please, Mr. Jean has forgiven you. Please forgive yourself.
She presided over a trial watched by millions, but the case against Amber Geiger took on a life of its own when the brother of Botham Jean hugged Amber Geiger, and then State District Judge Tammy Kemp did the same, then gave Geiger a Bible.
I had no role to represent the state during a victim impact moment.
Today, Judge Kemp said the outreach to Geiger came after all court proceedings had ended, and she was not using religion in the courtroom.
And then she said, but I don't even have a Bible. I don't own a Bible. I don't know where to begin. And I said to her, well, I'll get one for you.
Do you understand that people view this as that's not your role and responsibility when you have that robe on for the betterment of the people of Dallas County? That's
No,
what you're not supposed to do?
I do not. Ms. Geiger asked me for a hug. And I'm embarrassed to say that she had to ask me twice. I never asked Ms. Geiger to pray, and contrary to popular opinion, I did not pray with her. She will forever be the murderer of Botham Jean. How she carries that thus forward depends on how we receive her. And as a Christian, I believe I'm commanded to offer her love and compassion just as Brant Jean did.
Judge Kemp told me that most of us in the media and frankly across the world viewed this trial from the back. She said she viewed it from the front and she could see, in her words, watch Amber Geiger deteriorate emotionally in that case, and she wanted to do something to try to help in that regard on both sides, for the Jean family and for Geiger. Nonetheless, there has been a complaint, a formal complaint on judicial conduct filed against her. Reporting live, Steve Pickett, CBS 11 News.
All right, so says the Dallas judge said Monday she would not and could not refuse giving a hug and a Bible to the former police officer she had just sentenced to 10 years behind bars for killing an unarmed neighbor, Botham Jean, in his own apartment. District Judge Tammy Kemp, who is black, has come under fire for compassion she showed last week to Amber Geiger, who was convicted of second-degree murder. Geiger, who was white, barged into the apartment of her black neighbor September the 6th last year, thinking it was her own, believing Jean was an intruder. Geiger, who had just finished a shift, drew her weapon and gunned down the 26-year-old in his own home. During Geiger's sentencing hearing, the victim brother, Brant Jean, also said he wished Geiger well and hugged her. Both his and Kemp's physical embrace of Geiger, 31, have angered some in the African American community. Kemp said she felt her actions were acceptable because the embrace came after all official proceedings had been completed. I'm surprised that people think that hugs was somehow detrimental. Kemp told the Associated Press, "Had you witnessed a person who was hurting as Miss Geiger was, I don't know a person who would have denied her that human contact." Kemp also handed Geiger a Bible, which drew protests from civil liberties advocates like the Freedom from Religion Foundation and a watchdog for the separation of church and state. She asked me if I thought her life could still have purpose, Kemp said, and I said, absolutely. Kemp then said she went to get her Bible, encouraged Geiger to read Bible verses after the former officer said she wouldn't or didn't know where to begin to change her life. And then she requested me a hug, and I am embarrassed to say I didn't say yes right away, Kemp said. She asked me a second time, and between those asks, I was reminded about my responsibility to show love and compassion. Now, again, that's what you heard on the article, and you've seen what you heard from her own lips in the video. Now, again, I think I got the wrong screen in front of you, don't I? A little bit, I'm off a little bit there. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. All right, so anyway. So, we see Tammy Kemp, who now is trying to justify what she did. And again, we hear the words that are saying human compassion, right? No, only a monster with no heart would be like, but again, as they're talking about, there is a judicial conduct that one must display when they're in the position. Have there in the history of this country been judges who may have extended that to defendants, convicted murderers? Maybe. We just wasn't in there. We didn't get to see the cameras in the courtroom, right? And so, based on, again, personal knowledge and so forth that black people have, when they seen it, you said, is it detrimental? A hug shouldn't be detrimental. Well, it's not so much about the hug in itself. It's like, again, when you look at percentage-wise of the incarceration of our people, and then you find out a lot of them who become exonerated, no one's seen, again, if a person was in there, again, like the movie that just went out with the Duvall just did with the Central Park 5, right? And we've seen how that went down, and no compassion, even though after they've been found to be exonerated, the person in the highest seat of the land still held fast to what he believed even back then, right? He held on to that. And so how is it that, okay, here was a situation based on the scenario that's been told, right? What everybody had believed, going back to September 6, 2018, what had been told, what we had. But then once the case is laid out in front of you and you know, because again, let's remember that originally that they started off with manslaughter. Why did they go with manslaughter and then come back with murder? What is it that they know that we don't know? Because I remember I did the story for those who know who ever, watchers of this show over here. We did the story about Chicago with the Laquan McDonald story, right? Boy shot up 16 times, right? Officer get basically about equivalent here, and that was straight out. And then the people who lied and all, right? There was a whole lot of stuff that went on in there, right? And so here's the people who see this on the constant on both ends, and there's never really no compassion. And then the effects of that being shown like that has something to do with the historical aspect to our encounter here. Like, situations can arise where you just say a person, okay, you got to deal with the consequences of your actions. I may sympathize with you from an internal, but based on the position I have to hold, impartiality, I can't display that. And we've seen that now again, she is part of the system. She is a fellow ex-officer, and there could have been some camaraderie. And again, we understand the fraternization that go along with police officers and the whole nine. And it was seeing one of their fellow comrades fall. But again, based on what everybody should know what took place, you can sympathize with the person. But again, we seen somebody stroking somebody's hair. We seen somebody beg, please let me hug it. Please, please. Now, you know what a lot of us was thinking? A lot of people were probably sitting there, and I ain't gonna just say black people. A lot of people probably was thinking, you let that dude get off the stand and come up there and hug you like that? And what if he'd just start going wild on her? Start just, you know what I'm saying? He snuck something in, got in, and he just juggying her up, right? Then what would have happened? But that's why a lot of people said there was some behind the scenes, because everything seemed to be like the way that she came and she flew in his arm. It's like, wait a minute. Hey, you ain't a little apprehensive? Like, wait, I want a hug. Well, you want to get me or something? You know what I'm saying? You ever be watching some of these videos where family members, somebody done killed, the mother trying to jump all over them, trying to get to them, and here it is, please let me, see? And so with all that being said and done, that just, it struck a chord, as they say, some African Americans. I don't think it was just African Americans. I think a lot of people felt that kind of way. Unbeknownst to the other ones, they stayed on code. They might have known it. They didn't say it. Oh, we doing it again. Damn it. We can't never seem to say get away from the we want to say it's a stereotype that they say these are white Caucasian stereotypes, but we keep displaying it every time because we don't seem to do it. You're not going to see. Matter of fact, I got a story behind this one that's just going to show you the difference when you talk about compassion, that a judge is supposed to show compassion. Well, the story you're going to see after this one, just going to show you it depends on who it is. And this is why the backlash is coming to you, because black folks seeing this and seeing that there's something a little bit special about the way you're doing this here. It's not about having human compassion and sympathy for us individuals. It's like you went all out. Y'all was doing a lot too much in front of the cameras so everybody could see it. really trying to put the bucket of water to douse the fire, right? You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we seen here. And so she don't believe she done nothing wrong. She using the fact that I'm a Christian. Now again, when they talk about they Christians and they follow on the path of Jesus, and I have to ask you, why are you a Christian? Because according to that Bible, Jesus was not a Christian. Jesus was not a Christian. Christianity is something they come and created after the fact, right? So again, you taking something that is foreign, that's been given to you, and then if you've been avid watching this show, remember they just did about a couple months ago, they came out with the slave Bible, huh? You remember they came out with the slave Bible and how the slave Bible doesn't have, let's say if there's 66 books, 66, I think there was something like over 60 something books in the Bible, right? But this Bible, that the slave Bible only had, it didn't have that many, but it had specific chapters that want the slaves to read so that they can be branded and coded in their mind to be a certain way. And that's what you're seeing the people reacting to, because that's what they saying. Is that what you acting is like that slave Bible gave you. That they can't do no wrong, and then we have to always be in a position to forgive, but ain't nobody forgiving about what they did to us. See, everybody want to be forgiven. See, it's kind of like that movie, Marked for Death. Remember that movie, Marked for Death, with Screwface? Everybody want to go heaven. Nobody want dead. Huh? Everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want dead. So that's the same thing here. Everybody want to do black folks wrong, but nobody want to be accountable for it. That's just how it is, right? But when the shoe is on the other foot, now everybody wants to be like, you know what? God, can you forgive me? Now, I ain't the one it's not me that you have to worry about. It's not my forgiveness that you have to worry about. If we all believe in a higher power, it's not my forgiveness that you need to worry yourself about. Right? So that is just to reassure you, to make you feel some kind of way. But again, there's many of our people been stuffed in that damn system. They ain't done nothing 20, 30, 40 years up in there. They ain't done nothing, no compassion, even when you come out. Yeah, throw them a little bit of money, but their life been taken away from them. That money can never suffice for the life that you didn't take. But when it's in your position, it seems like we can find every nick and cranny. Just like they say, well, matter of fact, I think so much about the judicial conduct was about the fact that you threw the law past. When they came in with that, what was it, Castle, right? The Castle rule, right? Now, people trying to say, well, okay, we're doing that. Some people say, well, maybe because it had something to do with trying to do with the retrial or try to do the appeal and stuff. But we're like, how you gonna use that? You went in your own home, even though you thought you was in your own home. But again, there was too many stumbling fumblings for you to be trying to use that. But again, you did it. So everybody was kind of questioning when they heard the Castle doctrine trying to be thrown as a lifeline. You know, a lot of people was kind of questioning, hey, what's that about? Right? And so you see, she's sitting here. She's just trying to say, you know, Tammy Kemp. And she said that she was really reluctant to really do it. I really didn't want to do it. But she asked me twice. But you could have, you know, yeah, somebody just walked away like they ain't heard nothing you said. Yeah, your parent never did that to you. You talking about, Mom. Keep on walking like you ain't heard she said. Because you ain't trying to hear what you talking about, right? And so that what could have been done. But he said the human capacity. He said, but then the slickness. Did you hear the slick tongue in that? When she said that, well, Brant John forgave you. But she didn't say Brant. She said Mr. John. Now, when she said Mr. John, you would think that, again, according to what they were saying with the witnesses, they were saying that, well, the reason why we didn't give the 28, because they was contemplating on the 28 years, right? But they said, well, based on what the stuff that they were saying about Botham Jean, we don't believe he would want that. Now, they had this one white dude, and they had that sister sitting right there, and she was like, yeah. And he was the one orchestrating the whole damn thing. You get what I'm saying? He was the one sitting there orchestrating that. But based on what they said about Botham Jean, we don't believe you don't. Well, he dead right now. But if he could come back and be based on the fact that what happened to him, he may not be that person you might be thinking. Yeah, he went to church, but he was smoking weed too, wasn't he? Ain't that what Joshua Brown said? They were smoking weed, right? They both, you can smell the weed from both departments. Now, that don't make you a bad person because you smoke weed, based on the fact that now it's legalized, but before you smoke weed, before it becomes legalized, you was a criminal, right? Now, all of a sudden, now because we can get that tax, it's all good now, right? But anyway, but you can't say what somebody, based on what done happened to them, how they going to say. Again, there's a lot of hypocrisy in church, right? Like because everybody singing and right? There's a whole lot of hypocrisy going up in the church. So that don't necessarily mean that just because somebody just said, again, the facade one may display, but it was just something special about this family because, again, they all was like, wait a minute, what happened to what we hear about? What about that? Why are we not steadfast on that? Father said some things and people was like, hey, you may want to be your companion when you get out. Some funny business. Well, a lot of people kind of, again, the word speculate. Hey, you know what? There's something more to this story than that that meets the eye. Well, there's some other stuff going on. Now, again, I know they said, again, I'm trying to backtrack a little bit. And they said, well, she was texting to the dude that she was, supposed to go have her little rendezvous with. But could he be the side piece? Because he was already married too, right? Could him been the side piece and my man could have been you know what I'm saying? Because it's just something not copacetic a way the whole this thing went down. That's what's got people ticked off and everything just, and again, it could have been a love thing. You understand? For all we know. So anyway, that is what it is, right? So we see that, the physical embrace, say that we as, when they say African American, that's kind of umbrellaing everybody who's black skinned. A lot of people who didn't have no horse in the race and probably didn't even really care. But there's certain people, because again, if you're from St. Croix or where they from, they might feel some kind of way because again, the backlash that ADOS and BADOS had been on the social media saying, so a lot of them are trying to disassociate themselves and say, well, we're not like that. Well, it is what it is, right? And using the Christian as, you know what I'm saying? But again, we as black people, Christianity has been a tool used to subjugate the minds and make the docility of the slave. And we try to act as if like that ain't it. So when people talk about, well, I'm a Christian, again, you still haven't studied long enough to kind of figure out what that is they done gave you. Now, there's some truth in there, but that's not saying that the purpose that what they gave it to you is to do. As I say, the slave Bible was given to you, had its purpose to have you design in mind so that you will be subjugated to every whim and forgiveness of what the master did to you. And that's what was displayed. And that's what made everybody feel the way that they did, right? So you can say what you want, Miss Tammy Kemp. And to see that young man, Brent, did what he did, the only person who lost, besides the fact that Amber Geiger is going to do 5, maybe do 3, you never know, right? Maybe, you never know. But Boston Jean and Joshua Brown seem to be the losers in that. Both black men. Black men out of it. They're the ones that got deals. They got the bad hand out of this. Joshua Brown was just trying to do what they say your civic duty should be. And while I'm sitting here talking about civic duty, I want you to see this story here before I end up with the show here, right? Now, since we talk about how these judges and how they talk about how they supposed to do what they do, well, I got this story here that just did a couple days ago. Now, check this out. Right? Now, you seen with Tammy Kemp, how she dealt with compassion for a murderer, right? Remember that? A murderer. Check this out. I'll be right back. Check this out, y'all.
A man who overslept when he was supposed to be serving jury duty paid for it with a jail sentence. The judge's stiff punishment now making headlines, and now the sleepy offender went before that same judge again. ABC's Diane Macedo is here with what happened next. Diane, good morning.
Whit, good morning to you. There was no oversleeping for this court appearance. Deandre Sommerville asked that judge to reconsider his sentence after spending 10 days behind bars for missing that day of jury duty. Now, Deandre says jury duty was the first time he ever set foot in a courthouse. Now, after a new ruling by the judge, it looks like he'll be spending a lot more time there.
I've never been in jail. I'm not made for jail.
This young man is now working to clear his record after spending 10 days behind bars for missing jury duty.
This was an immature decision that I made, and I paid the price for my freedom.
21-year-old Deandre Sommerville was sworn in as a juror for a civil case in August. He was scheduled to appear the next morning, but says he missed his alarm and overslept. Rather than heading to the courthouse or alerting the bailiff, Sommerville went to work, not knowing there would be major repercussions. A few days later, he was served with a summons and appeared before a judge. The presiding judge, John Kastronakis, said Sommerville's absence delayed the trial by 45 minutes. The judge originally sentenced Sommerville to 10 days behind bars, 1 year of probation, 150 hours of community service, and a $223 fine.
He made the decision himself that it wasn't important for him to come back to court.
But Judge Kastronakis is now reducing the probation to 3 months. Sommerville's mother says she's relieved at the decision.
So I'm glad that everything was lessened. So I appreciate the judge for doing that.
Sommerville now calls the experience a lesson learned.
I'm able to tell the next person who may feel like, oh, jury duty is stupid, I don't need to come. It's not stupid, it's a civic duty.
And the judge called this a classic example of good people making bad mistakes. He's now considering expunging the contempt of court charge from Sommerville's record. One of the conditions for that, Sommerville will now have to give speeches to potential jurors about the importance of jury duty.
10 days. I have covered so many court cases, and I've seen lots of people get less than 10 days for much more than not showing up.
The judge also emphasized that one of the big things was that he didn't notify the courts after. He didn't call the jury office and say, listen, I overslept, I'm sorry, what do I do? He just kind of carried on, and I think that was part of the reason for that.
Goodness gracious. Well, thanks, Diane.
Thanks, Diane.
Let's
All right, so we back, right? So, all right, we got to give a little comparison, right? I got to give that judge who sentenced a man to 10 days in jail for oversleeping jury duty clears his record. Now, that's what they said today. He's going to clear the record. But what you seen there originally in the video, he stuck it to him, didn't he? Right? So it says Deandre Sommerville spent 10 days in a Florida jail after he overslept and didn't show up for jury duty. But the judge now says he won't have a criminal record. Judge John Kastronakis found the 21-year-old from West Palm Beach in contempt of court last month after he missed a civil trial and didn't call the court to explain what happened. Kastronakis vacate the contempt finding and rescind the sentence of probation in order he signed on Saturday. Sommerville was originally sentenced to 10 days in jail, 150 hours of community service, a written apology, and at least 100 words, a year of probation, and $233 in fees according to court records. Sommerville did not have a criminal record, and the punishment prompted outrage on social media. Okay, so based on that, right? Civic duty, we understand, right? Those who ever have been afforded to be able to be a juror get called up, right? And that's part of your civic duty as being a citizen of these of United States. And so here's a young man, Deandre Sommerville, who somehow kind of blew off the situation, right? He didn't really know the ins and outs, right? Again, we got to assume he didn't know. Him being black, now we don't know what his mother knows. We see the mother end up coming into the, court proceeding to try to help get some, again, it's excessive. We just got to say that's very excessive to the fact. We'll talk about it. But anyway, so, you see that his mother did, so we don't know whether she told him the ins and outs, what he should have did, or again, it was something. He's a grown man. He's 21, right? He's a young man, but he's still a grown man. But again, according to as the story talks about, this young man has no criminal background. He said he ain't never been in court before. He know nothing about it. Matter of fact, the 10 days you put him in there, he said straight up out his mouth, he said, I ain't made to be in jail. You understand? That's smart, right? I know that's right. I ain't trying to give you no damn time. I ain't built for made up in there. I ain't trying to be up in there because you think this is the best way to punish me. But again, okay, let's look at this. So we see that this John Kostanek decided that he said, according to the reason why he did it, he said, well, we held up the trial that day. Right? Now, again, is it jury selection or was he already picked? Was this his first day? Where they jury selecting who they want, or you coming in and you gonna be on the case anyway? That's Florida. I don't know why I didn't get down like that, right? But that kind of seemed a little strange to me, but okay, what it is, right? So based on him not showing up, I guess there's procedures for when you don't, you call, tell him, whatever reason, then you have to still go see the judge and how you gonna deal with it. And let me show you this. Let me show you this. Hold on. Let me show you this. All right. So here's the young man there. That's Deandre Sommerville, right? Right. Young man got a little job. Matter of fact, he didn't go. He went to work. Right. So he not knowing that again is supposed to get paid for not. When you go to jury. So right. Right. So I don't know if this was selection or was he already on because he said hold up the trial. So anyway. Again, you know how the courts say, lack of knowledge is no defense, right? So that's what basically what it's saying. Well, just because you didn't know don't mean that we're going to have any leniency towards you, right? Right? Think about that. No leniency. The young man, again, wouldn't it been coming to, okay, hey, wait a minute, let me look at the background of this young boy here. Let me see if I can mess him up. No, that ain't what he thought about. He's like, you held me up. And this is my compassion. See, we're going to see the difference between the compassion of judges, right? Well, depending on who is the culprit, right? Right? So we see that they had the young man before the judge. You see the judge right there in your face, right? See how he's sitting there looking at the man like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you 10 days. Wait a minute. Man got a job. Man may got other responsibilities, right? Now, again, we're not trying to shy away and say, wait a minute, we ain't supposed to be doing your job again. But again, he came, he not running, he come back. You ain't to go get him on a warrant and catch him. He came in, right, on the summons, right? And he said that, my bad. I didn't really understand how this go. I thought that, this, okay. So, look how the judge looking at him. Just on this shot here. It said pictures 1,000 words or more. And, look at that young man there, right? When you come in court and somebody dress up, you can't really tell, but you're trying to sense their energy and spirit. So you're trying to assess with him. But again, I'm pretty sure, did you look at his background? Right? You see, he clean. He had clean. So how'd you give him 10 days? Knowing his record clean. Young man, where you was at work? Oh, where you work at? You understand? None of that. You're a judge, right? But that ain't part of this situation. Okay. So it goes on, right? But did you hear the list that they said? Did you hear what he gave them originally? Well, look at this. 10 days behind bars, 1 year probation, 150 hours of community service, and $223 in fines. Is that excessive or is that compassion? Young man who don't know nothing, because again, like I said, black folks know about going to court, being in the position to be judged, but rarely, more so now, people be a little bit more civic in their duty, but, not knowing so much about that aspect about it, unless you have some people in your family who tell you the game or what it is. A lot of times, black people ain't qualified because, again, a lot of us done got some kind of record that exclude us from being jury, right? Yeah, probably squeaky clean again. He brand new in the game. He only 21, no record so far. Of course, you could get him in, but some of the older ones you can't get him in because you done already tainted them when they was coming up through as shorties. You know what I'm saying? All the good stuff. So anyway, you don't think giving that man treatment? Because matter of fact, did you not hear? Did you hear? I'm gonna come back to that. Did you hear what she said? That newscaster? Y'all heard her. You heard what she said, right? She said, I know as much as I done covered a lot of court proceedings. I know people who did, and they never got 10 days in jail. Right. But here's Tammy Kemp, who in the courtroom, consoling, patting on the back, going to get Bible reading verses. And here's a young man that got a job. Got no record. Side he trying to skip out. Well, the fact that again, the reason was his alarm clock didn't get him up in time to be there on time. So I was like, fuck, I can't go. I'm gonna be late anyway. He didn't know that, right? But see, he said he ain't never been in the courtroom and never been to court. But those who know that even when your ass late, you still going in there, coming in there. Hey, I'm late. I'm still here though. You know what I'm saying? Still call me up. You know what I'm saying? He don't know that, right? So where was the compassion by this judge? Huh? Where was the compassion when he sat there before this young man right here when he said what he said, huh? How did he come up with that whole term that he did when he came with the whole, let me show it to you again. Let me show it to you again. Let me show it to you again. That's why he rained down on him. What I do with that? What I do with that? Hold on, y'all. 10 days, 3, maybe it's this one, okay. Yeah, here we go. All right? 10 days behind bars. He said, I ain't built to be in jail. He said that straight up. I ain't built to be up in here. He had 10 days for not doing jury. Skipping out. Year probation. Wait a minute. He black. He a young man in black. He gets pulled up by police anytime. See, you see what we talking about? See the difference between who, depending on who is on the other end? A year probation? A black man trying to get through, he might as well don't even come outside. And in the case of an Amber Geiger, police might just come at your damn door, come in and tell them this is my house. Huh? Year probation. Then on top of that, 150 hours of community service. I still got to get free. What? What? And I got to pay. This is not excessive. Is this compassion? Should this person be under the judicial code or that same thing like that? Well, that don't fall on that because again, they said, well, he was supposed to do that. He did it. Then it's just like he did this to himself. He might have done that, but you could have had a compassion say, all right, this time. All right, based on the simple fact, what I'm going to do is, you said you went to work, right? So I'm going to do is I'm going to call your job. We're going to do this right here so that you can't go back and talk to somebody. We're going to do this right now. Give the bailiff phone number to your job. We're going to take a recess. I'm going to call your job. We're going to talk to them and I'm going to find out. Tell me what time we're doing. Woo. You understand? Let's do some little Barney B. Jones canon detective work. Mannix, well, that old shit. You understand what I'm talking? Right? That's what you do. You the law, right? Let's get down to the facts of this. But no. We're going to stick this young man and mess him up and gave him a record. His first record would have been on the fact that he didn't do this. And he was all messed up about that. The boy was all messed up about this. to the fact that what happened, shows like Black Minds News, social media, start talking about it. And guess what now? Oh, he changed it up. Now, he still did the 10 days in jail, but what he did is everything else is going to stick. He's still doing 150 hours of community service. He still got to pay the $223 fine, but he said, oh, we're going to put you three months of probation. That's still 90 days. From him going to work or school and home or to from, I'm not sure where he live at. He live in Florida. And you know, we have a lot of stories all the time about Florida. 90 days still, I think you should have just dropped the probation, period. But because you gave him the 10 days, right? Because again, if you wipe that away, now he get to come back and again, but see, again, that's what I'm saying. It just depends. See, everybody want to say, well, black people, you're always crying. Now, we ain't crying. We know what it is. We've been in the situation even before. Again, before there was a court. We was in here before there was a police system, right? Well, it was Patty Roll, right? It was overseer, right? But we've been established since then. We know them from before they got the uniform and the badge. We knew that then. So again, we understand sometimes that the slant in it. Not all of them, but most of them, right? So, but anyway, that's just how it goes, right? So you tell me, is that excessive? Young man like that, again, we get it. We understand the civic duty. But damn, couldn't there have been some compassion and leniency in that, in the way, maybe 10 days, maybe could have, we're going to give you, oh, you're going to spend the night in the, matter of fact, on the movies, and then I say, matter of fact, what was that movie, My Cousin Vinny. Yeah, shit. Oh, my Cousin Vinny, right? My Cousin Vinny, remember when he came in there, you Utes, yeah, right? And he came in there, he said, you gonna spend the night in the jail for contempt. That was a lawyer. He got a contempt, right? One night. He got 10. He got 10 days. You understand? Well, really stick it to him. Really wanted to stick it to him. He was too clean. You understand? Now, you come from where I come from. There's times when police pull us over and be looking at your record and be like, you ain't never been to jail? I mean, you know, kind of like Chris Rock said, well, there's a nigga supposed to go to jail? You understand? Like, you surprised that a nigga don't go to jail. Wait, what? Yeah, of course. Again, like I said, he ain't built to be in there. Who built to really be up in there? Right? And then you say the animals. Well, yeah, that's what you're going to do when you confine somebody like that under that regulated, strenuous. Of course, it's going to the environment. Of course, that's what you're going to breed. So, anyway, that was just a comparison to show you that, again, as Tammy Kemp said, compassion. But here was the same scenario differently. White man, black man, no compassion. Black woman, white woman, found compassion. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, you tell me what you think. Again, this is the mess that blows your mind, the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Let me look out here and see if I see any messages that might have been out there. I wasn't even paying attention. Now, I got a couple people now. My fault, y'all didn't even look. Sherry65, good morning, Mr. Bergman. Good morning to you, man, Miss Sherry65. Leonard DeYuta, yo, what's good to you as well? Leonard DeYuta, Tammy, Mammy, was endorsed by Amber Geiger Precinct. She should recuse herself of those grounds alone. I know that's right? But again, you know, I don't know if you caught that part to it, but the point is, it's just the facts, right? Like you said, the facts. Funny, I've never seen any white put in jail for missing jury duty. Yeah, you're not going to put that, they're not going to put that story. Matter of fact, check this out, Leonard DeYuta, if you're still up in here. Did you notice when I played the clip of that, of the young brother, and then it got to those news reporters? And remember when that one woman was like, I've never seen anybody, and I've done a lot of court holdings, you know, reporting, I've never seen nobody get 10 days. Did you see the uncoldness of the other white woman and the other two next to him? Got on cold. Well, you know, he didn't call in, he didn't, huh? See, want to justify it, but when it comes to y'all, we don't be seeing no stories like that when it comes to y'all. Right? We don't see no. Matter of fact, we'll see somebody getting out of jail that should have got some time and be like, damn, how'd you didn't get no time, or you got lazy, or how'd you even walk out the door after a rape? We done seen somebody had a rape case and walk out the door, and then the judge resign after the fact. See, but that don't be happening with us. This is the kind of stuff we be doing, and that's why shows like Black Mind News got to do what I do on the daily. Some people think it's trivial. Oh, you on that race stuff. This on a daily basis. Again, this show got stories all day long. I can come on all day long if I wanted to, because the stories all day long, right? So that's just what it is, man. And so you're right. You don't see those stories. You don't see it, and if they do, they're gonna hide it. But that's ridiculous that somebody doing jury civic duty missed the appointment to come, and here it is, you excessive with it. You went from, I want you to do 150 hours of community service. I want you to pay the $233. I'm going to make you $10 days in jail, and I'm going to put a year of probation. You don't know how much trap you laying for this young man. Got a record on him. Year probation, possible, again, according to where he lived, the possibility of trying to go to and fro a whole year without being accosted by police. And so, come on, man, you were setting that young man up. So it's damn right we supposed to sit there and say something about that. We ain't supposed to let that shit just go like that. So Leonard Judah also said that I missed jury duty. Nothing ever happened. I simply refused to participate in the locking up and destruction of other people's lives. All right. But you know what I'm saying? I guess it depends on where you're at. But see, Florida is kind of one, Florida is that other part that, again, was exclusive that America ended up buying Florida, right? So there's elements in Florida that was not here originally with the original 13 colonies, right? So that's an acquisition that they put in. So there's some elements and people who are probably descended from that. That's why, it's always some fuck shit, really, when you think about Florida, right? You got a lot of crazy shit that be going up in Florida. And it's because of that, probably that element. These people know that these people here is a little bit different. They ain't like the mother, and they ain't subjugated. It was plantations under the Spaniards and all that other good shit. But that's just how it go, right? So, anyway, I want to thank y'all for y'all being here, seeing the show again. I'm trying to stay on in the mornings, try to be doing these morning shows. I got another show to do these afternoons, but thank you for y'all participation, coming by and watching. Again, I am the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Until the next show, y'all, you know how I'm going to say it. Peace, love, and all that good stuff. Again, go ahead and click that. Go and hit that music for me, sir. Go and hit it. All right, let's get it. There you go. All right, so, again, I want to thank everybody for your participation. Remember, when you see one another, greet your brother. Hey, brother, what's good, brother? See your sister. Hey, sister, what's good? You better know that the uniform and the team that you are on, and get all this envy, jealousy, and hatred out your ass, and understand we is all we got. Understand that those in the team and those that some of us that on the team got allies. But you better tell them, ask their allies a couple questions. When shit and if shit get hot, are they still gonna be on our team? Ask them if they ever heard of John Brown. Is that something white folks just told us, or is that a real story? But somehow y'all made it seem like he was crazy and deranged because he was really trying to help black folks. So you gotta ask your allies them kind of questions to see how they feel about it, right? Know that the time is dawning that those who seek our demise is upon us. So you have to stay mindful, vigilant, and cautious and high spirit. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this has been a Black Minds News Report. Until the next show, peace and love, brothers and sisters. To the next show.
You